Okay, we're going to talk about something really important today. It's a sensitive topic for sure, but it's a conversation we need to have. This comes from the incredible work of family counselor Vera Sompon, who has over 16 years of experience on the ground here in Germany. This is a guide for African parents, a look at how our love for our children can be misunderstood by the system as fear. And the consequences, well, they can be devastating.
So, picture this. You're in a German courtroom. You've had social services visit. You truly believe you are doing everything you can for your child, and then you hear those words from an official. The parents are not cooperating. Just 5 words, but those 5 words can be the official reason a family gets torn apart. And here's what's so important to understand. This is not some rare one-in-a-million story. It is a heartbreaking reality for so many families who feel completely lost in a system they just don't understand, staring down the possibility of losing their children. If any of this feels familiar to you, please know you are not alone in this. So you have to ask, how does it even get to this point? That brings us to our first section here, a courtroom wake-up call. We're going to look at just how fast simple misunderstandings about parenting can spiral into a full-blown legal crisis. This right here, this shows exactly where things go wrong. Parents often lose, not because they're bad parents, but because they are just completely unprepared. They don't have any documentation, no record of their side of things. Then when they're in that high-pressure situation, they're so emotionally overwhelmed, they can't even get their words out clearly. And maybe the biggest one, they get stuck focusing on what the child did wrong instead of offering solutions to the system that looks like you're refusing to change. And that leads us straight to the heart of the whole conflict. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of the rules of the game. You see, what might be considered totally normal discipline back home can actually be defined as abuse here in Germany. The rules are just different.
Let's get really clear on a legal term you have to know: emotional abuse. In Germany, this is not some vague idea. It is a solid legal reason to remove a child from their home. It's defined as any pattern of words or actions that makes the child feel unsafe, and worthless.
And we're not just talking about extreme situations here. I mean, look at these examples. Constant yelling, threats, like "I'll send you back home to Africa." Words that belittle and insult, chipping away at a child's spirit. Even behavior that you might see as just being a caring, protective parent can be seen by the system as controlling and harmful. This chart really just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's like 2 different worlds operating under 2 completely different sets of rules. On one side, you have the way many of us were raised. Parents are the final word, and strict discipline is normal. But on the other side, you have the legal reality in Germany. A child's feeling of safety comes first, children have actual legal rights, and any kind of physical violence is absolutely illegal. It's a whole new playbook. Now, when facing a crisis like this, a very common and understandable response in our community is to turn to faith. And that is so important. But this next section talks about a critical piece of the puzzle, the absolute need to pair that faith with real, practical action. You hear this narrative spreading, this deep fear that the system is just out to get us, that they want to take our children. And it's an understandable fear when you feel so powerless. But the danger of that mindset is that it can stop you from looking at your own role in the situation. And it can keep you from taking the practical steps you need to take to fix it. What's so interesting is that guidance for a better way can often be found right there, within our faith. This scripture, for example, it's not just a nice suggestion. It's a powerful parenting strategy. It's asking us to stop and think, are my methods creating understanding, or are they just creating anger and resentment in my child? And this really brings us to the key point. Prayer is powerful, fasting is powerful, but they must be combined with works. So what are the works? It's learning how the German system works. It's changing how you communicate. It's asking for help. It's actively working to unlearn the harmful patterns we might have grown up with. That is faith in action. So let's bring all of this right back into the home. Let's talk about the feeling, the atmosphere in your house, because it really comes down to a fundamental question. Is your home built on a foundation of fear, or is it built on one of genuine respect? I mean, just look at this comparison. In a home built on fear, the whole house goes quiet the second you walk in the door. It's all about control. And kids learn to hide their real feelings, to hide their mistakes. But in a home built on respect, your presence makes them feel safe. It's about connection. Your kids feel like they can breathe, they can be themselves. They can even mess up and still come talk to you about it. So this is a moment for some real honest reflection. Ask yourself this question. When you walk in that door after a long day, what happens to the energy in your house? Do your children breathe a sigh of relief? Or do they freeze? The answer to that question tells you everything you need to know. You know, this whole shift in perspective, it all comes down to one fundamental truth. It's so simple, but so powerful. Children are not our property. They aren't just little versions of us. They are individuals, whole people that have been entrusted to our care for a season. They have their own feelings, their own rights, and their own destiny. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, we've talked about the big mindset shift that needs to happen, but the real question is, what do you do about it? This final section is all about the solution. It's about your path forward to parent with confidence and to protect your family. This is the roadmap. Step 1, you have to understand the system you're living in, and you need to learn about it before there's a crisis. Step 2, do the hard but necessary work of breaking those old generational patterns that just don't work here. Step 3, shift your mindset from just surviving as a parent to actually mentoring your children. And finally, and this one is so important, get support. You do not have to do this all by yourself. If you take just one thing away from our time together today, please let it be this. Knowledge protects you. It's your shield against misunderstandings. Making a change prevents loss. It's your best tool to keep your family together. And you are not alone on this journey. There is help out there. Parent Compass was created for this exact reason, for African parents in Germany to give you the knowledge, the clarity, and the community you need. Please choose to get support today so you aren't forced to find crisis support tomorrow. Your peace of mind and the future of your family